Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is G, and you are watching All Astrology. Now, we're going to go over Mars. I've just done a video talking about Mars, the planet just by itself, and then talking about the sign of Gemini because we have a Mars going into the sign of Gemini, and then it's going to go retrograde in that sign. All right. And Mars is not a super fast planet compared to like the sun. Well, that's a luminary, but compared to like Mercury, Mars moves a little bit slower. So it's going to take a bit of time to get to the sign of Gemini. It stays in the Gemini energy for roughly around 5.5 months. Okay. If you've watched any of the videos, you know what retrogrades mean, right? You know, it means an intensification of that energy. So you got to know what energy we're talking about, right? Mars. Well, if you know what Mars means, then you know what the intensification means. Let's find out if Mars is also out of bounds at this time. All right. So I have a chart, but I've shown it to you guys before. It's this crazy chart. Well, actually, how about this? In the summer of 2022, beginning in June, we had a sun. Our sun was out of bounds. So when your sun is out of bounds, there's a boost in your energy. There's extra energy. It's an amplification of energy. And it's not just energy, but the sun is also somebody in charge, authority figures in somebody's life. But it can also talk about like Leo energy, so heart energy. Have you had any heart issues? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel as though you're speaking from your heart? Right? Meaning, doesn't mean you have to be rude. It just means you're finding you have more courage to do or say things than you had before. That began in June 12th. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? It went from June 12th to roughly July 2nd. So that was the sun that was out of bounds. Now, when we get to October, all right. Um, actually, Pluto starts to teeter around its out of bound area. It starts teetering out of bounds. This is kind of important, folks. And I will probably just create another video for the Pluto thing. But Pluto is power. We're doing that weird lighting thing again. I'm not sure what's going on. Like, I have the curtains open. Maybe it's catching the reflection, the movements of the sun. You can see the tree, the shadow of the tree over there. Yeah, like right there. You see that right there? No, we don't have ghosts. I mean, if we do, that's not them. This is, anyway. So Pluto goes out of bounds in September. It starts to teeter around the out of bounds area in September. So yeah, that's like September 5th, okay? And it stays like within that out of bounds stuff all the way until November, okay? And that's Pluto being out of bounds. And so it doesn't technically, out of bounds is technically like 23.75 degrees, okay? Pluto gets at 23. It doesn't go to the 0.75. It stays around 23.05 is what it does. But what that means, anyway, let's just stick to Mars. I'm sorry. I pop all around. If you want me to do a video on the Pluto, let me know. All right. So Mars starts to teeter. It hits 23 degrees. And the thing we have to make sure that we're aware of with Mars is that once it starts moving, it moves fast. It's not like Pluto where, okay, it's at 23 and it'll just kind of sit there for a minute because it's so slow. No, Mars, once it begins to move, it's sporadic bursts of energy, right? It's all of a sudden 0 to 10 like that. So October 10th, Mars is just about to hit 23 degrees, October 10th. And then by October 30th, so the whole month of October, it's at 23 degrees. It starts to go to 23.20 by October 20th. And then it's at October 25th, it's at 23.33. And then it's at 23.50. October 30th. I'm sorry, I think I said the other way around. So November 4th, Mars is beyond 23.75. The Mars energy, Mars goes to 24 degrees on November 4th. So it's technically out of bounds there, November 4th. And it stays at the 24 degrees, which means it stays out of bounds. And actually, it goes higher. It goes to 25 degrees even. So its peak is 25. It goes to 25 2536. That's its peak, and that'll be in March. Yeah, it stays, wow, all the way until March. It's at 2536. Okay, so I wanted to cover the time that Mars was during its retrograde. Okay. And I wanted to find out if it was going to be out of bounds during the time that while it's retrograding. The answer is yes. Mars will not only be retrograding, but it will also be out of bounds. So we talked about the retrogrades, meaning it's extra energy. It's more of that energy. But with the retrograde, it's not just about more of that energy, like there's a purpose to it. Okay. And the purpose point has to do with the sign that it's in. So do yourself a favor, go watch that video. It's Mars and Gemini retrograding. So this one, Mars out of bounds while it's retrograding, the out of bounds piece is Mars going extreme. It's just Mars within itself taking action. So if you were to reference back to that video, I do mention that Gemini energy, right, is like being in your neighborhood. It also, I give examples about being in your car and driving around. So Gemini energy is automobiles. It's also walking. It's also being in your neighborhood. It's your local community. Okay. Going to the market in your local community, right? It's, trade and bartering with your neighbor. You know how your neighbor says, hey, I need a cup of sugar. They say, yeah, I need a lawnmower just for the day. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. We barter and we trade services to each other. And so that's that Gemini energy, neighbors and stuff, but it's salespeople as well. Okay. So out of bounds Mars in Gemini, Mars being out of bounds, meaning Mars at an out of bounds point, it can take it further than just being about talking in words. Mars wants to take action. That's what Mars wants to do. So if it's in Gemini and if it's hearing fighting words, or if somebody's doing something with their hands that signals like, a conflict or adversary, that's Zoe. She's more than welcome to come in. The door's not locked, but she's on the floor. You might even see a paw come under the door. I don't know. But anyway, so for myself, what I will be looking forward, well, not forward to, but I will be aware of that during a Mars out of bounds while it's retrograde, I would be very conscious about when I am in a car, if somebody does something crazy, to just keep on going. Like I will not, and I don't go anywhere, honestly. I've been really more of a hermit, or I like to say a monk in a monastery, although I haven't really been a monk, but it's not a huge concern for me. I'm definitely not traveling during this time. And for me personally, I had already made a decision not to travel when I looked at the astrology. I said, heck no, I'm not. For me, it's not going to work. Okay. And so depending upon you and your chart, there might be some other things. If you plan on doing any traveling, there might be some other factors in your chart that actually, this might be a benefit in some way for you. It might work out wonderful for you. But just keep in mind, anytime there's a retrograde, it typically signifies we have to redo something. All right. We have to kind of retrace. We have to kind of go back. And if it's Mars, we're literally retracing our steps. Okay. So what that means is you literally will likely, a trip may take longer. There may be delays because there may be, well, you got to go back and do that. Or there's just something there. You kind of have to pencil in for more time during retrogrades in general. All right. It just means we're like going over something. We're reviewing it again. A lot of people talk about retrogrades as the redo season. Like, okay, I got to go do that again. I did it wrong the first time, or there was something missing. Okay. But because it's Mars energy and we understand how Mars energy is and how it's just more intense, plus out of bounds, it means it's extreme energy. So if you have questions about this, in addition to being confused about if this is going to be a factor for you in your life, like in your chart, just comment below and I can look that up for you. And if you're new, if I don't have your digits, get them to me. Just go below the video. You can get your stuff to me privately through the email, and I create a chart for you, and I can even send you your chart. And that's just part of being part of the all astrology. It's being one of the stars, being a rock star, an all-star, being one of the stars up on the channel. So real quickly here to recap, Mars begins its out of bounds at the end of October, we'll say, but I'm saying the beginning of October. I'm aware of it. It begins the end of October of 2022 and runs all the way through to the second week of May of 2023. Remember, we're talking about Mars. Go watch that other video. It gives you the definitions for Mars. And then I'm next going to have a video that's going to show us what else is going on during all this. Because it's not just about Mars. It's like, okay, so what else is happening? We have to look at everything. Remember, astrology is a holistic science. Holistic. Bye-bye. So below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.